Hey everyone, Taylor back again. Today I'm joined by my office mate who I miss so much, Ron Schultes. Ron is our policy and research director. How's your quarantine going, Ron?
I'm doing good, and I'll keep up the theme. I know you talk with Mark every day when he's in his jazz outfits. I'll just show you. I've got my next Georgia Tech outfit on, so nothing's really changed. So,
We
but
can
hanging
really
in
be
there.
ourselves when we're working from home. I've got
Yeah,
my coffee, I've got my French press in there. We're all being ourselves here.
that's right.
So Ron wrote a blog post that is posted. There's a link to it in the description of this video, and we just wanted to talk through it really quick. So let's go ahead and get started. Ron, what is your post about? What kind of inspired this?
Yeah, I wanted to write something about how we're seeing kind of two different approaches by state governments or governments generally about how to deal with the COVID-19 virus pandemic and the reaction to it. And you're kind of seeing two paths. You're seeing one is the big government path, right, of using the power of government and giving them, extraordinary powers. And then the other is you're seeing a lot of states actually use this as an opportunity to justify peeling back red tape, allowing the free market to respond and innovate. And so I wanted to highlight the two different responses and directions we've seen different states go down.
Yeah, it is such a time to be able to compare
Mhm.
what works, and what we believe works is letting the market do its thing and letting individuals do their thing. But also, you highlighted a few examples of really egregious big government.
Yeah, what we've seen, for example, some cities, for some reason, feel that in response to, coronavirus, we can't issue Second Amendment like concealed carry permits because for public health and safety, which I don't know how that relates. So that's kind of odd using, this, situation to essentially like waive the Second Amendment. We're seeing my favorite example is New York has Andrew Cuomo, the governor there, is basically used their prison population to make state hand sanitizer and compete with Purell and all these other companies. And in his press conference, he rails against quote Mr. Amazon and Mr. eBay. I mean, it's wild. And I mean, I don't know how if it wasn't made into an SNL skit, but like him talking about the floral scents of their new hand sanitizer, it's hysterical.
Blew my mind.
Yeah,
Absolutely blew my mind. I was like, what am I watching? Is this real
right.
or is this a joke?
I know it's nuts.
That
So
was wild.
those are
But on
just
the
some
other
of the
side, on the other side of this, there have been some really great examples of the government saying, "Do your thing. We're going to get
yeah.
out of the way, and y'all know how to treat this just as well."
Right. I mean, you're seeing a lot of states, particularly governors, issue executive orders that have repealed or rolled back, allowing out of state licensed professionals, doctors, nurse practitioners, practice in the state without getting that state's license. So essentially, a universal recognition. You're seeing enhanced telehealth, rolling back regulations around telehealth, or also even things like trucking requirements for drivers, giving them the ability to drive longer if they're transferring medical supplies, all these types of things, just essentially saying like, look, we know we don't have all the answers. You guys, if we'll open up our state to more providers and whatnot, it's going to make dealing with this pandemic a lot easier. And it's really exciting and interesting to see.
I know I was actually on the road with my mother the other day, and we were looking at all the semi trucks that were going, and it was while the economy was just tanking. And my mom goes, "There, that's America at work, man. All that stuff that's being moved, that's what's going to keep us afloat." And you're so right. I mean, that's where we are. I think that what we need to touch on for a second, though, is if we can roll these things back in a time of crisis, why shouldn't this be standard operating procedure?
Absolutely. And another one I forgot to mention is some states, even for example, in Michigan, which has a Democratic governor, basically waived all of their certificate of needs right now. And we've seen Bill Lee here in Tennessee roll back some of them around hospital beds and
Yeah.
getting waiving CONs for hospital beds. And so the idea is that, well, a lot of these regulations are supposedly in the public health and safety. Well, I can't think of a time that's more related to public health and safety than a virus epidemic. And we're saying that these regulations that are designed for the public health and safety need to be waived in order to help us enhance the public health and safety. So it really highlights how these are oftentimes more about protectionism. And so if we can waive them in this critical time, why do we need them all together if we're healthy?
And on the human level, when one of your loved ones, when you or one of your loved ones is sick, that is as much of a crisis for you as this is for everyone else. And so
Absolutely.
thinking about these things on a human level, if a bed's not available in a hospital for someone who you love to find treatment, that's just as dire of a need as it is now for the world. So you're totally right. This is just an example of why do these exist if we can roll them back in the time of public health crisis. So Ron, when you signed off on your blog post, you left us with a really great challenge that has something to do with this.
Yeah, I think the notion that we should take away from this is using opportunities like this to show and highlight the power and the resiliency of the free market. And in the blog, I highlight how perfume manufacturers and whiskey distilleries are creating hand sanitizers. Auto manufacturers are creating ventilators, right? And there's no way that a central planner could have thought about this and using this existing capital, and nor should they have, right? And especially they couldn't have thought of it as quickly. And so using these times as an opportunity to show and highlight and challenge all of these rules and regulations that we have in place, and just really allowing the ingenuity of Americans to take hold and take reign and look to these types of solutions.
Harness the power of the free market, baby. I love it. You guys see why I love sharing an office with this guy. He keeps me on my toes, and I love it. Well, thank you, Ron. I have put the link to his blog post in the description. Check it out. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you think. Thanks, Ron. Stay safe. I've been telling people, stay safe, stay sane. We're locked up for a little while, so wash those hands.
Hey, it's an introvert's dream. I just got to say, like myself. So, I mean, I'm loving it. So.
Same. I'm perfectly fine without any human contact. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you. Talk to y'all soon.